Here we go. Anything that, you know what? I've had Buffalo there forever. I've kind of bought into their nonsense. Nothing. I did put Green Bay at 10, though Miami's probably better. But I kind of like the story of the Packers. I do think the Texans could be I think Houston is undervalued. Anything bother you?
Nothing bothers me. I think that you want to and should and will in your pick flip-flop the Lions and the Rams. I think you're going to pick the Rams to go to Detroit and win. They are going to go to Detroit and win. They are the better team. They have the better coach. They have the better quarterback. They have the better defense. And so, listen, I think the Rams are, right now, I think the Rams are pretty clearly the third best team in the NFC. And the Rams are the one team that is not a division winner that I think actually has a viable chance to make the Super Bowl. I don't think any of the wild card teams other than the Rams, and I think that the Niners, it could be a very tough spot for their first playoff game after a couple weeks off to face Sean McVay and that Rams team that played them tough earlier in the year, that beat them in the playoffs a couple years ago. So I like the Rams more than I like the Lions, but the rest of it I have no objections to. The Bills, it's ugly, and I don't know really, they're winning because of Josh Allen and despite Josh Allen, all in the same game. But other than that, I'd flip-flop Lions-Rams. I think these are really spot on.
All right, let's talk about the Bills. I liked them over Miami. When they lost to Philly in overtime, I said, you know why I like them? Because they start to look like a Super Bowl team. Mahomes, at his best, had a decent defense, a pass rush, and a bit of a running game. I think Buffalo's been just so overly reliant on Josh putting a cape on. And the truth is about the Chiefs, Mahomes is great, but he doesn't have to be great every moment for the Chiefs to win games. And I do believe Buffalo has some components they haven't had. So as a number 2 seed, can you acknowledge they have overcome a lot this year and they're feisty?
Well, listen, I thought they were dead when they were 6-6 because I did not think that they could string together 5 straight wins because I thought Josh Allen would not play great 5 straight games. What is so remarkable about it is during this winning streak, Josh Allen's numbers are down across the board. His passer rating, his touchdown interception, all of it, and the team's performance is up across the board. The defense has played much better. They have become much more of a running team. And I did think Sunday night was something of a microcosm of who the Bills are any given month or any given season when it comes to their quarterback. Like, Josh had 3, maybe 4 truly awful mistakes early in that game. He took points off the board 3 times, including the play before halftime. His first touchdown pass went 30 feet in the air and could have been another interception. But then the flip side to that is he made 3 or 4 plays only he can make as far as the punishing runs for first downs. And so I give the team and the coaching staff credit for winning. It'd be one thing if they won 5 straight because Josh went supernova. It kind of went in the other direction. He and Stephon Diggs are still not on the same page. He's not playing 4 quarters of great football, and they're winning despite that. I think it'll be great theater. The Bills, I think the seed should hold in the AFC, or the favorite should hold in the AFC, I should say. And we should get Chiefs-Bills for the first time ever in the playoffs in Buffalo. Listen, Colin, I might make the drive up, or I'll fly up from New York City for that game. You could go cross country. Yeah. You could maybe splurge on a little suite and in nice conditions. We could watch that game together, not too far from here. But this is what the best they could have asked for. And through an up and down season, they somehow found a way to get the 2 seed. So I give them credit. Gun to my head, do I trust them? No. Would I think the Steelers, if they had TJ Watt, would be the exact type of team Buffalo would be in a 3-point game in the 4th quarter against? We'd be like, how the hell did this happen? Yes, but I give them credit for what they've accomplished over the last 6 weeks.
All right, Chiefs beat Miami earlier. Game was in Germany. I think both teams are a little, they're a little punctured. The drops, the penalties. This is the transition from stage 1 of the dynasty to stage 2. It's always bumpy. They'll figure out the receiving core next year. They're not a great team right now. Miami is not. Miami's shown no ability to go on the road, win in 9 degrees against a good team, so Kansas City wins. But it is interesting. Miami is just dangerous enough and smart enough in a lousy weather game, are they not, to put a little anxiety into Nick Wright's coffee cup? Just a tad.
Well, so listen, I mean, 2 weeks ago, Miami was playing to be the 1 seed.
Yeah.
And now they're on the road in round 1. Yeah, I mean, going into this past weekend, the teams the Chiefs could play, Buffalo was the 6th seed, but it was almost impossible for them to finish as the 6th seed. So going into this weekend, they could have been playing Indy, Houston, Pittsburgh, or the Dolphins. On paper, the Dolphins are the most dangerous of the bunch. I actually think Houston could have been the most dangerous of the bunch, but set that aside. Yeah, theoretically, Miami's dangerous. But I watched them not want to tackle Josh Allen in 60 degrees on Sunday night. So I wish them luck tackling Isaiah Pacheco in negative 15 wind chill next Saturday night. Also, the Chiefs right now, the sneaky thing, everybody knows about the drops.
Yeah.
I think the drops I think the drops are a problem, but a little overstated. The understated problem with the Chiefs is they have had bad tackle play.
Yeah.
The interior of the offensive line is great. The tackle play's been bad. Well, Miami's down all of their edge rushers.
Yeah.
So if there's any team that's not going to be able to take advantage of that, it would be Miami.
Yeah.
And so here's my prediction, Colin. I think the Chiefs' offense looks better than maybe it actually is Saturday night. And all of a sudden, it's the playoffs, it's the divisional round, and the Chiefs are coming off a pretty significant victory. And everyone has a moment says, wait a second, the best coach, the best quarterback, you have Patrick Mahomes there, right? And they have a great defense. Did we maybe sell the Chiefs short? We'll see, but I think that'll be some of the narrative going into divisional weekend.
All right. Speaking of great coach, great quarterback, let's talk Dallas. Joking. All right.
Oh, okay, sure. Well,
So,
Super Bowl champion, could be MVP. You can give him some credit.
I said this. 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. Outside of Jim Harbaugh. Tell me all the coaches you're absolutely sure that could have gone 12-5, 12-5, 12-5 with a quarterback we view as like B+. Like McCarthy, late game situations, Packers, Cowboys are huge brands. Their games get billions of viewers, right? Like they're really big. If he had these coaching issues in Cincinnati or Jacksonville or Houston, we wouldn't pick him apart. We'd go 12 wins, 12 wins, 12 wins. Is that McCarthy needs to beat Green Bay, youngest playoff team since the 74 Bills.
Oh, yeah.
But if he loses the next game, he's got the same resume as John Harbaugh. If Harbaugh loses second game, do you run him out of town? Like, I think McCarthy remains the guy if he beats Green Bay. Why is that nuts?
Well, I don't think it's nuts. I think that now I'm under the assumption the Rams are going to beat the Lions, in which case that second game, Colin, would either be against Baker Mayfield, your beloved, and Tampa Bay, or against an Eagles team that is self-immolating on a week-to-week basis. I think they got to win both of their first 2 games. And we did it on the show a few weeks ago, or maybe last week, of all the teams that had 3 consecutive or more 12-win seasons. And all of them, during that streak or prior to that streak, had at least been to, if not won, a Super Bowl. If McCarthy does it without ever reaching a conference championship game, that's a tough sell. That's a really tough sell. And so I agree with you. I think Mike McCarthy gets, to prove your point about we wouldn't kill him if he were in a different market. And, a week ago, we saw Mike McCarthy have a few issues down the stretch with clock management. And then Dan Campbell go for 2 from the 7-yard line because he was angry at the officials, and we spent more time attacking McCarthy than Campbell. So I agree with you, but I also think that if they can't at least win home playoff games against the Packers and then whomever is next, be it Detroit, Tampa, or Philly, then if I were Jerry Jones, I'd take a hard look. And I'd potentially call New England and see what Belichick's status is.
I got to ask you this. It came down this morning, a little bit of a wild card question. Vrabel got fired. I think there's a history in this league is when you have a great defensive coach and a quarterback in their prime, you win a lot of games. Okay? I mean, we have a history of this. Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson, and win 80% of their games.
Sure.
Now, it's ideally you'd love Reed and Mahomes. It hasn't happened a lot. It's been more Belichick, Brady in my life. So Vrabel's fascinating. I think the Chargers have to hire a head coach. Harbaugh's out there. I think Vrabel to the Chargers. Am I nuts on that?
That's the right answer.
Is it?
No, that's the right answer. Everyone is saying Belichick, go to the Patriots if they fire Belichick. Honest to God, if you're Mike Vrabel, why the hell do you want to go there? You're following the greatest coach ever. The cupboard is totally barren of talent. It's a total full-on restart. And now obviously the Chargers are in a tough division as well, but in a very tough division. I didn't hear you when this news broke. I didn't know that that's what you had said. The Chargers should be his number one pick. Now, if you're the Chargers, they might say, we just paired Justin Herbert with a defensive coach. We want to pair him with an offensive coach, which I understand. But their problem wasn't that Brandon Staley was offense or defense. Their problem was that Brandon Staley was in over his depth. Mike Vrabel is not. And so I totally agree with you that if I were Vrabel, my own personal history and ties be damned, I would far rather go coach the Chargers than coach the Patriots. And if you're the Chargers, he has to jump up to the top of your list. Absolutely. Yeah. I totally agree with you.
Yeah. By the way, I think I'll throw this out. Harbaugh doesn't love facing his brother. He'd rather go to Washington or in Atlanta, especially Washington, where the parents could see Jim and John live between the two of them. The parents they're all very close. I don't think Jim Harbaugh wants to regularly have to face John Harbaugh. I don't think he does. Jim's not uncomfortable with much. He didn't like it. So I think Vrabel to the Chargers and Jim to Washington makes a ton of sense.
So if I were Harbaugh, I wouldn't leave Michigan for Washington, but I would for Chicago. And I know Chicago hasn't fired Matt Eberflus, but you don't think they would if they could get Jim Harbaugh? And if you're Harbaugh and you've got a team that was right around 500, is going to add Caleb Williams, also has the 10th or the 9th pick of the draft, whatever they get for Justin Fields, a bunch of cap space. I think if I'm Jim Harbaugh, I am, holding Michigan over the coals for as much money as possible while having I think he just hired Don Yee, my agent, behind the scenes find out, is Chicago theoretically open? Because I think that's a great job. I think the Chicago job instantly becomes a great job if they decide to move off Matt Eberflus. I know they haven't yet, so maybe people believe they won't, but I think for the right person they would. I don't know about Washington. I understand they have a cap space in the number 2 pick, the history of the franchise, recent history, and the strength of the division scares me off a bit. I would far rather Chicago, and obviously Harbaugh has real ties to the Bears.
All right, Nick Wright, First Things First co-host. Thanks, buddy. Great seeing you. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.